Okay, look at this. Look at this marvelous and jaw-dropping piece of art. The shadows, the textures, the movement, the realism. This is a beauty to look at, and is one of many examples of how CGI is used to perfection. Now look at this. Oh God, look at this fake, rubbery, empty, vomit pile of effects. This is one of the many examples of how CGI is used to remove the viewer from the immersive experience. I was watching The Lord of the Rings the other day, and I noticed just how well these effects hold up. The lighting, the environments, the textures, the creatures. It definitely has its flaws and is showing its age, but these were phenomenal visual effects for the early 2000s, and it's unbelievable that they look this good. Now look at the end battle of Avengers Endgame. Wow. I love this movie, but this end battle is ugly. The colors are washed out, the lighting feels fake, and everything about it just feels so floaty, like it has no weight to it. So this really got me thinking, is CGI getting worse? Budgets are bigger and the technology is far more advanced these days, so why do some movie effects still look so bad? Let's look at a few examples and really dig deep into why CG effects sometimes look fabulous and sometimes look like crapulous. Let's take a look at Gollum. He looks damn near photorealistic. This looks great. He looks like he's actually in the world with the other characters. He has a weight to him, a realism to him. This still holds up wonderfully, and it's almost 20 years old. Now, look at Steppenwolf from Justice League. This is only 4 years old, and it is unacceptably bad. This literally looks like it's from a PS4 cutscene. His skin looks like plastic, his metal armor doesn't reflect light properly, and he is just a visual disaster. I know that Gollum is the gold standard for CG characters, and it's kind of unfair to compare the two, but I don't care. There is no excuse for a CG character in any movie with today's technology to look worse than a character from 19 years ago. No excuse. Let's stay in the same universe. Look at this orc from The Hobbit. He looks like he's made from Play-Doh. He is so soft and has no realism to him. He feels like an effect. He takes you out of the experience. And you could say, hey, cut them some slack. It's hard to make orcs and monsters look real. But they did it. And they did it well 20 years ago. I'll get to why that is in a moment, but let's take a look at a few more examples. Look at this warg from the Two Towers. Then look at this beast from The Hobbit 10 years later. They look identical in technical application. They look like they're from the same movie. Look at the train sequence from Spider-Man 2. Look at Doc Ock's tentacles. Look at Spider-Man. You can tell it's CGI, but it was amazing for 2004. Why does Spider-Man look worse 13 years later? Not the same. His suit looks worse. The Hulk looked incredible in the first Avengers. Top-notch, amazing effects on him. It was amazing how real they made him look. The way his skin looked, how his muscles flexed, how his face still had the humanity of Ruffalo. You could see the sweat dripping from his brow. Look at this buffoon in Avengers Endgame. He looks just nasty in comparison. This is the same character with 7 years of experience creating him, and he looks much worse. A movie with a $200 million budget has no excuse for crapping out a garbage effect like this. Cheetah looks just as bad as the Wolfman from 10 years ago. Compare this wonderful looking alien from District 9 to the abysmal effects in Venom. They couldn't even make slime look real, and Venom had over 3 times the budget as District 9 and was made 10 years later. This alien looks photorealistic, and this alien looks like garbage, even with the superior technology and the higher budget. Look at King Kong from 2005 and compare him to the ape from Rampage in 2018. They look almost identical in quality. How is this possible? Jar Jar Binks from 22 years ago looks almost as good as the Ninja Turtles from 5 years ago. Jar Jar actually looks more realistic than the final fight in Black Panther. How can Marvel Studios consistently produce such awe-inspiring and incredible computer effects, then produce something like this? Something that is so flat, so rubbery, so fake looking. This was Iron Man's armor in the first Iron Man. Whoa, that looks so good and realistic. That is some damn good CGI for 2008. Yeah. This is his armor 10 years later. 10 years of experience working on perfecting the craft of making his armor. And this is what it looks like. There is no comparison between the two. So, why is this? What is the reason? Is CGI actually getting worse? Well, of course not. The current technology we have to make films is mind-blowing when utilized by the right people. It's the lazy studios and producers' faults. They want big budget, easily digestible movies made every 2 years, so some of these artists don't have enough time to make it look great. They typically put out an unbelievable deadline and put an insane amount of work onto these people's shoulders, so maybe what they produced was the best they could do. It is insanely difficult to put together hundreds of shots of a realistic gorilla or alligator monster or an alien in just 2 years. But then again, the movies that have plenty of time, like Wonder Woman 1984 or the Marvel movies, they have no excuse. They have already set the bar for themselves. With the talent and budget at their disposal, they should pop out great effects every single time, because they have shown us that they can do it. There is no excuse to make anything less than Thanos. No excuse to have any DC film look worse than Man of Steel. The technology is there, but the lazy utilization of it is the problem. Just look at the great examples of CGI over the past few years. Thanos looks great. Caesar is as close to perfect as you can get. Alita is cartoony, but marvelous to look at. The characters in The Jungle Book and The Lion King look almost photorealistic. The space scenes in Interstellar are jaw-dropping. The Quicksilver scene in Days of Future Past looks amazing, and there is a ton of subtle CG used in movies all the time. CGI isn't getting worse. It's actually getting far better. It just depends on who is using it, how much work they put into it, and how much they really care. Rushing a movie to release, monetary setbacks, impossible deadlines, hiring the wrong people, and sometimes just not hitting the mark is the reason we get bad or ugly CGI. And with the budgets and talent working on these films, there is no excuse for it. I'm sorry, but Sam and Frodo walking up Mount Doom 18 years ago looks better than the final battle in Avengers Endgame. Please do better. They look like they are actually there on the side of a mountain, and you look like you're standing in front of a green screen with phony lighting. I love Marvel Studios, but we can't let them get away with stuff like this. They want to constantly save money by shooting in a studio lot, but things look so much better if you film on location or with more props. I know you can't always do this, but come on. To save time, they constantly shoot in front of a green screen and then just say, hey, we'll throw in the background later, blur it, and it will look good. But it doesn't always look good, Kevin. It doesn't always look good. CGI like this, and this, and this is inexcusable, and it gives all of these artists a bad name. Hopefully in the future, we get a little more of this and a lot less of this. Please, take your time and give us the quality content that you are capable of and that we, the audience, are paying for. Alright guys, what do you think about this topic? Do you agree with my points, or do you see it a bit differently? What is your favorite example of great CGI? And what is the worst CGI you've ever seen? I want to talk about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this in the future, hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification bell to keep up with all of my content. I really appreciate you watching to this point, and I hope you're staying safe out there. Take care, guys. Peace out. Hey, if you like this video and you want to see more of my ridiculous content, check out one of these. Maybe you'll enjoy yourself, or maybe you'll watch it and crap your pants. Click one and let's find out.